Hello, people. Uh, Welcome back to Finnerton Central. I'm Brian, if you didn't already know. Uh, First of all, I just want to apologise about the short video that I did last week. I was so tired after uh, working two, working two jobs last week. I had to be up at a ridiculous time in the morning. By the time I got home, I ended up falling asleep for a couple of hours. And then I realised, look, I've promised a few people already that I would post a video last week. So I thought, I've promised, so I'm going to do it. So I just kept it short and sweet, just to let you all know that I'm still here and I'm still doing a little bit. But for those of you that have asked, the new job's going great. It's still early days yet, obviously, but hopefully everything's all going to work out the way I've planned it, and also means that that I'll have a little bit more money in my pocket, which is always a bonus. But anyway, back to the layout. As you can see, it's running. Yay! It's been it's been a bit of a struggle, I have to admit. I've had wiring issues, I've had point issues, I've had even now still having small issues with trains suddenly deciding to jump off the track, even at low speeds. So still investigating that one, but it's running, which is more than what it was doing about a week ago. I've now converted the branch line to DC. The main line is still running on DCC. And while mucking around with it all, I came across a discovery that I'm not sure whether any of you actually do know this or not, but I found out you can actually run a locomotive already chipped for DCC on DC. Now, obviously, I know you can't do that the other way around because otherwise you're just going to fry a blooming locomotive like I almost did once. But it was a good thing to know because originally the reason why I decided to change it all over was so that I could run all of my locomotives on the branch line because they're all DC. In fact, actually, the Flying Scotsman is the only locomotive I've got that is actually on DCC. But it also means that I can actually run it all the way up to the branch line without any issues. So I was actually quite pleased with that because I sort of like had envisioned the fact that I would have to take a train up to the branch line and then switch trains over to DC. But fortunately, I haven't got to do that. Plus, of course, where's the fun in that either? Having to keep taking trains off the track all the time. The fiddle yard's still not touched yet. I've started making progress on one of the stations. I haven't made any progress on the other one. The bit up the back that I was building, I've not done anything to that at the moment. I've painted the outline of the road that I'm going to build for now, just for my own reference while I'm building everything else. So yeah, so there's an awful lot going on at the moment. The country house, station house, still hasn't been built yet. I'm no further forward with that one. I'm still only got two pieces, which are actually here. So I've got two pieces. I believe this piece joins up to this piece, like that, I think. So I'm still in the process of building that, which I might actually try and finish this weekend if I can. Um, but on a whole, after an awful lot of head banging, a lot of cussing, I finally got the whole thing working properly. So without further ado, we'll go into that now. There we go. Right, okay. So over here, I've changed that point there, and I've changed that one there. The main reason for changing that one, for changing this one, sorry, this one here. The main reason for that is because this one that I've got here, which is a Lima set of points, had a built-in piece across here. It turned out it actually burnt out a solenoid. So I thought, save mucking around. The points that I bought from the model show a few weeks ago, I decided, right, I'm going to use one of them. So I took it out. But then I came across, I've got express curved points as well as with all that lot that I bought. So I thought, I'm going to change this one as well. The biggest reason for this one was the fact that it's old. It's a very very old Hornby set of points. If I had to hazard the guess, I'd probably say this is like late 70s, early 80s, something like that. It is very old. It's a made in Australia one. I think they're made in China now. Not sure, but anyway, every time the train ran over it, I'd get derailments. Most because the fact that the frog here has got quite a wide hole, wide gap there. It didn't look authentic. It just looked a bloody mess. So I thought, well, I've got that point out. I'm going to change this one as well. One of the things I modified with this one was actually drilled a hole through the bottom there for the points to switch. And I was quite surprised actually when I put the newer Hornby one in. That it lined up perfectly with the solenoid, so I didn't have to do any more wiring with that. I quite literally just took it out, put the other one in, wired it back up again, job done. So there we go. So get you back down here. So yeah, so that's what I've done with that one. So that is going in the bin. So there we go. It's in the bin. Budget model railwayer, I'm so sorry, but I've thrown it in the bin. It's no good. Really isn't any good. I don't like it. Before you say, no, what you doing? But this one, I'm actually going to cut that bit out of there, just leaving this one side of the point in. And what I'm going to do with that is I'm actually going to glue it in over here. I'm actually going to glue it in here, so it'll look like that, and that'll be part of the disused section. There's going to be just a track bed. There'll be no track. There'll be just a track bed coming across here, and then it'll connect up with the track, which is already laid in across the station here. Now, for the eagle-eyed of you all, excuse the mess. Right, now over here I've decided I'm going to raise the level here up to the station level to give this, to make this look a little bit more as it should. To be honest with you, it was given to me as a present, and then when I built it, it actually came out a hell of a lot smaller than I thought it would do. So I've built, this is going to sit on top of the platform level. I think that will make that look a bit better. The footbridge, I've decided I'm going to keep that in place, but what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to drop the level down a little bit so it's not sitting so high up. I forgot what it was called for a second there. Sorry, the signal box is wired up, got wires in there ready. Look, you see the resistor there. So that is going to be plonked in there and connected up to the lighting bus, which this piece is already connected to. So I'm going to connect that one up to it as well as, so that will be all lit up very soon. I will add platform lighting at a later date as well. I've still yet to buy that, so we'll get to that. I bought another 5 packets of this, so I've got 7 packets of this now. So this resin is going to go in the lake area when that's ready. The station, I still haven't touched the station yet. I'll come back to that one when I get to it. I'll have to have a bit of a brainstorming session and see what I can come up with. Right over here, you can see now that is supposed to be the lake area. It is not flat at all. It is all over the place. Bits here that are not supported at all. So I've got to strengthen that up. Then I will put a layer of plaster over the top of it. I'll make it all nice and smooth. And then once I've done that, painted it, I'll then put the resin in, and that way then I won't need to use so much resin. I've painted the roadway here. I can't really remember quite whether I actually did this or not on the last update. My fault for not looking first. And I've still yet to build the new roadway here because that was obviously too steep. But I've got that in the right position now. I quite like the way that's looking, so I'm going to put plaster sheets over that and get that sorted out. And that is pretty much it for now. Oh, right. Then the DC setup. I'll show you that now. Oh, come on down with me. Down. Okay, right. So here I've got 2 switches. Oh, excuse the hand. Right, zoom in. Right, here we go. I've got 2 switches here, and that one there as well. One switches the branch line on and off, and the other one switches the station area on and off as well as. So I can put a train into the station, isolate that so it doesn't move, and then I can have another train continue on around the outer circuit. Then obviously here, down at the bottom here, we've got the line here that takes you up to the branch line. There's an isolated section here. Back down here, we've got switches again. This is switches the DCC on and off to this section of track. So what I can now do, since my little discovery, I can bring my little Flying Scotsman. He's not little, is he? I can bring the Flying Scotsman up to this point here, bring him to a stop. There will be a signal here as well as that I will fit eventually as well. And that will be that will switch on and off in accordance to the power as well. So what I'll do then is as soon as it's on there, I turn DCC off, I turn DC on via these 2 switches here, and then that's it then. Now, one of the biggest reasons here is I could have gotten away with just one switch there. Well, you would have thought so, but what I've done is each switch is for each side of the track. That way, when the DCC is on, there is no power to any one of those 2 tracks at all. It is completely dead. So what I've done, so you got DCC on, off, DC on, off. Quick question for you all. I don't know whether you actually will know this or not, but I believe I need to put a fail-safe in here for just in case. So, what sort of fail-safe can I use so that it prevents me from switching the DC on or off while the DC on while the DCC is on. Did anybody get that? Oh dear. Right, okay. Yeah, so a fail-safe to prevent me from having the DC switched on and the DCC switched on at the same time. Okay? Right. Now, now I don't have a massive collection of trains at all. But if you come over here, I'll show you a few of them in the collection. I've got this one here. Now you'll have to excuse me. My my knowledge on actual locomotive names and classes, I don't know. I pick these up because I like the look of them, and that is about it. But I've got this one. I've got that one in my collection. I've got this one. I've got quite a fair few tank engines that I've acquired over the years. I've got the standard Smoky Joe, and I've also got this little beauty up here as well as. Now this, I can't remember the name. I think it begins with an R. The manufacturer name, I can't remember now. It's an Italian company that's built this. I believe it's for, I think it's like an American sort of style. Again, my knowledge is quite limited, so I really don't know. But it runs really, really lovely. There is lighting in the front here as well as, which amazingly still works. But I acquired this my mum actually acquired this for me probably 10 years ago. She just so happened to be at an auction and she saw a load of train stuff at the auction and decided to bid on it. She had absolutely no idea what she was bidding for. A lot of the stuff that she did buy ended up being just rubbish anyway. But in that collection was this, and one of the things about this is its coupling system doesn't it's not the same as what most people are accustomed to with Bachmann and Hornby, but surprisingly it actually does still work. So if I just plonk this little tank engine here on the track, you'll be able to see, hopefully. There we go. Let's get everything on in. Come on. There we go. Right, so it'll come in there like that, and it still clips in. Which is a bonus, because that means I can still connect coaches to it. But anyway, that's that. Then we'll come to my little drawer of bits. Hello again. My little drawer of bits. Oh, blooming hand. Sorry about the hand. Right, now then, let's have a look. Right, I've got a selection of Mark IIs. I have a couple of Mark IIIs, as you know, which I bought at the last rail fair. There's one of them there. And in a bunch of stuff that I bought from a gentleman in Kidderminster a little while back, there was a very early Hornby Flying Scotsman set. It didn't have its remote controller. The controller was missing, but it still had the set track that came with it. And I mean, I've got two different versions. I've got one without, and this one that came in the set has got, has got the little chuffer box. If anybody's seen James May's television series recently where he took one apart, I have an identical one to that. But the two that I've got, one is like a matte finish and the other one's a glossy finish, which is the one that came in this set. And in that set came with two of these coaches in this as well, which also featured in the programme. So I was quite amazed with that. It was for, I think, what I think I paid about 50 quid. It came with a couple of other locomotives and other bits and pieces. So I thought I did quite well with that. This is one of the locomotives I had. This one, I believe this is actually a Triang one. This one is. Now, normally these come in bright red, and these come in two different versions with like a chrome dome on the top or one without. This one was one without the chrome dome. It wasn't missing. It just happened to be a model that didn't have it, and then it got a number written across the side of it here. But because it was like a glossy finish to it, it didn't really look very authentic. So I in my paint collection, I've got LNER green pot of enamel. So what I did was I painted this in that, and then used a matte finish on the black as well, just to make it look a little bit better. And then I painted the dome on the top gold. I quite like it. Most of you purists out there are probably shouting, "No, what have you done? Don't do that. They're worth a fortune." They're not. I checked. Right, so anyway, so there's that. What else have I got in here? I got another tank engine. That doesn't run too badly, actually, that one. What else have I got in here? I've got a selection of coaches. I've got little branch line ones. There's my newly acquired Intercity 125, which I know that Steve at Charlie Brooks will actually love. Yes, I've got one of those. And I've also got a pair of those as well. Dummy in a motor car. And the last one I showed you, I've got two sets of those. But I've only got one coach. Yeah. I have Mark III grey. I have one Mark III grey coach. I think I might need to buy some more of them. Anyway, right, so that's that. When I was 10, showing my age now, my nan bought me a locomotive. Yay! Which tore apart. Ooh. And it never went back together again. And that is this. Still got it. I can't throw it away. I just can't throw it away. Yeah, it's got pieces missing, all sorts. Actually, at the model fair I went to last, they actually had one. And I thought, should I buy it? Shouldn't I? I don't know. No, I won't. To be fair, it's got that many pieces missing. The motor's missing. Some of the couplings are missing. The centre axle bushes are missing. It's just not worth it. So that's going to be modelled as a restoration project on the branch line. That's what I've decided. Then I've got, well, I have got the other end of this, a Class 37. Now, the one set of 125s, two sets of 125s, the blue one and the early grey one, not the one I purchased recently, them and the 37 I converted to CD motors. Now, I've been having loads and loads of issues with those. and I've got a funny feeling that those motors are not compatible with DCC. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reconvert them back to the ring-filled motor. But as you'll see in a lot of demonstrations, I think Sam's Trains has one somewhere in his collection. You've basically got to cannibalize the whole thing to change the motors. You've got to drill out the bush in the center and make it bigger so that the motor will actually fit. So once you've done that, there's no going back. Case in point, I have an LMS engine here, okay? And in the back of that here, I'll tell you what, I'm going to put him down over here so you can actually see what's going on. Right, so what I've done with this one, bring you in a bit more, take the top off. Motor sat in there. Now, if any of you have done these conversions before, you'll know that there are two different sizes. There's a thicker one and a thinner one. It's the thinner ones that you got to get. Well, I didn't know this at the time. Well, anyway, as a result, this has been severely butchered. I've actually had to cut out the sides there to make way for the motor. And then, of course, I've ended up losing the centre wheels as well, as because there's just no room for them. So, yeah, so basically, I have really stuffed that one up. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and find myself a replacement. Fortunately, it's all just in this one piece here, so I can buy another one. Doesn't matter what sort of tender it is, as long as this bit here fits on it. So that's that. Right, now then, what else have I got in here? Oh, I've got Airfix Mark II coaches. I've got brake vans. I've got a Hornby one and a Triang one. And quite a fair few trucks, and that's pretty much it, really. I don't really have a fat lot in my collection, but it is growing. And I don't know whether you've noticed it or not, but I have a set of 3 Pullman's coaches as well. As I really like those. Treated myself to those, again, second hand. But the Flying Scotsman and that were brand new. That came in a set. Midland Rail Hornby set, I think it was. I actually bought this for my son, and hoping that he would follow me in the hobby, but unfortunately computer games got in the way, so he's more interested in his PS4 than anything else, so he gave it me back. So I thought, well, I'll make use of that. What else was there? Oh yeah, and then Smokey Joe here, that was brand new, but I only paid a tenner for it. And this was an ex-display model at an old model shop. It's no longer there anymore. As with most model shops now, they're all disappearing, aren't they? But anyway, got that one. But I have heard there is a new one local to me, so I'm going to have a look at that one and see what that one's all about, and hopefully, yeah, good things might happen. You never know. Model shops, well, local ones at least, are always good. So, yeah, so that's basically it. So you've seen my collection of locomotives. You've seen the fruits of my labour over the past week as well, trying to convert from DCC back to DC, which is not easy at all. Well, for me at least, anyway. But I managed it anyway, and I give myself a pat on the back, I think. Well done, Brian. Do it anyway again. So, yeah, so hopefully things are on the looking up. Over the next week, I'm going to try and get that country station finished. I'm going to wire up the signal box as well as get that working, and I don't know. I'm looking at it now. Should I? Shouldn't I? Yeah, I think the factory might actually get some lighting as well as. And that really is pretty much it for now. The fiddle yard is on the back burner at the minute. I want to try and get all this like sorted out at the moment. So yeah, so the fiddle yard's currently on the back burner at the minute. The switches that I'm using for all my points. I don't know whether you've seen it previously, but that's basically it. It's just a piece of aluminium that I drilled selection holes out of. That's just temporarily for now until I can get a proper board made up, which I'll make myself at some point. So yeah, that is really pretty much it right now. Anyway, as always, any suggestions, please let me know. Any questions, don't hesitate to ask. If any of you are interested, I also have not all the time, but pretty much every day there's an update on Google, as well as I'm actually in a club whereas I'm the moderator of. That's on Google also. Look up Model Railways SSW. I'm on there. I know Budget Railways just recently joined. So if any of you there want to join in as well as and share all your modelling disasters and other bits and pieces, then yeah, please join in on the fun. And share, basically just share your layout with everybody. So yeah.